Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I am sharing some of my favorite things from the month of February. It's hard to believe that it's already March. This year is like flying by, but I'm ready for spring. I can still see lots of snow out my window and I'm ready for it to go away. So today I'm going to be sharing items in categories like entertainment, clothing, books, miscellaneous, and a priceless item. So without further ado, let's jump in. So in entertainment, I have one like album, CD, whatever you want to call it, and it's String Theory by Hanson. So yes, Hanson is still making music. I don't think they ever stopped. I have followed like their last couple albums and I caught this one like after it was released, but it's really good and I like it and I put it on like when I'm not sure what to listen to, but it has lots of string instruments like String Theory suggests. It even has bop on it, and it has covered like new versions of other songs that they've done previously, but it's really cool. And I think when they toured they actually played with orchestras, which really would have been neat, but I have definitely been listening to it. I've even like put it on when I've had a bath and it's very relaxing. So if you like Hanson, if you liked Hanson, I would suggest checking it out. Next is a true crime podcast. So now that I've finished Gilmore Guys, I still haven't done the Bunhead section of it, but it took like almost a year. So now that I finished that, I was like ready for something to like really get into and just like binge, and I found In the Dark. So it's a true crime podcast. The first season talks about the Jacob Wetterling case. He went missing in 1989 and the crime wasn't solved until almost 27 years later. So it talks about that whole case and just kind of like crime in America and like in small towns, how good your local like sheriff's department might be at solving crimes, and just as kind of, it was really interesting and like it happened before I was born, but I was invested and I really liked it. And then the second season talks about the Curtis Flowers case. So he's actually been tried and charged with the same crime 6 times. And so I finished the season and still have like the couple update episodes to listen to. So I don't like Google anything like it when I'm listening to podcasts like this, because if there's been any updates, I don't want to know until after I finished it. So I still have a little bit to go, but that was really interesting. And just kind of the things that people have gotten away with to keep him in jail is just really interesting. So if you like true crime stuff, I would definitely recommend it. A lot of the episodes are fairly short, like 30 to 40 minutes, but I listen to them very quickly. Next is a movie. It's a classic movie. It's Casablanca. So Ethan and I went to see it with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. So watch the movie and then the orchestra is playing the music live. And I'd never seen it before, but I know it's a classic. Like I knew that I should have seen it before, but at that point I was like, well, why not let that be the first time I see the movie? And I really enjoyed it and would definitely watch it again. I'm trying this year to watch more classic movies, so I have like a whole list in my bullet journal and that was on it, so I'm slowly checking movies off of my list. Let me know if you have any recommendations. But I really liked that movie, and I think my favorite part, one of my favorite parts was like the cop who gambles. If you've seen it, hopefully that's enough to get it without giving anything away. And then next, I'm mentioning a commercial because it just cracks me up. I think it came out Super Bowl weekend, but it's the John Hamm commercial for Skip the Dishes, where he's like with his smart home and he's like, smart home, how about some lavender smell? And then there's like a guy that has air fresheners and he's going like And then my favorite part is when John Hamm like looks at the camera and he smells the lavender and he's like, so I'll put a link to it down below and then in the coordinating blog post as well, because it just makes me laugh every time. It's my favorite. So that like makes watching commercials okay. Next category is clothing, and I'm mentioning this cardigan right here. So I'll put a picture of me, what I look like today, just wearing it. But it is like a blanket. It is so soft and it's just so warm, and it's like, it's long, it goes down past my bum, it has pockets. Like, I just really, really like it and really happy I bought it. I feel like it was kind of expensive, that I caught it during a sale and I was like, why is that cardigan so expensive? But worth it, and I love it, and I find myself wearing it a lot this winter. Next are 2 books. So my goal for 2019 is to read 30 books. I have now read 9. And I read 5 books in January, 4 books in February, so I wanted to mention 2 of them. The first one is The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. I'm not sure if it's a male or female author, but I read, what was that one called? Behind Closed Doors by the same author. I liked this one. It's about like a woman who, there's like this shortcut road to her house, and there's like, it's raining and the husband's like, oh, whatever you do, don't go down this lane, and she goes down this lane, and then there's this car pulled over to the side and she can see the woman looking through the window, and she's like, well, I don't want to get out of the car, so she pulls in front of the car, and then it's like, oh, they'll like honk their horn or flash their lights if they need something, and they didn't do anything, so she drove away. Turns out that the person in the car was murdered, and then she just becomes really paranoid, and her mom suffered from early onset dementia, so basically she's just like paranoia and she thinks she's going crazy, but I really enjoyed it, and it had lots of twists and turns. Next book is something that's kind of like different than I've read, at least in the last little while. It's called The Expats by Chris Pavone. So it's a husband and wife. They move to Europe, and she is ex-CIA, and then it turns out that another American family that they meet and become friends with, they are just not who they seem to be, and also her husband doesn't seem to be who she thinks he is. So don't want to give anything away, but it was really good. It was like a spy movie, and I'm pretty sure I think it's gonna be a movie. There is, I don't know if it's a sequel or just another story with the same main character, but I've added that to my list, and if you like spy type books, I would recommend this one. Next is miscellaneous. So I was sick in February. I just had a cold, and I am that person who has, like, I wear slippers all day and then I get into bed and my feet are still freezing. So I was cold, couldn't get warm, and there was a sale going on at the Bay, and we're trying to like slowly accumulate stuff for our house, and we had flannel sheets on our registry, and there was a sale, so we bought some flannel sheets. So I don't know the exact name of them. I tried looking at my email and it just said flannel sheets. So I'll put the name in here, and the link will be in the coordinating blog post and down below. But they are so nice. And Ethan is like the opposite of me. He's like a furnace, and he doesn't say they're too hot. So I don't know how I'd live without them, and I'm so happy to have them, and we'll definitely use them for years to come. So I didn't really know where to put them. I will probably, when we move into our house, have like a homeware or like houseware or house category to talk more about stuff that's in our house. But for now, we're putting those to good use. And then the last category is priceless. So it was Ethan's birthday in February. I vlogged the weekend of his birthday, so I'll put a link to that up there. But just quality time with Ethan. So I am generally like working on blog or YouTube stuff kind of like all the time. Like when I'm not doing something, that's when I come home from work and I do something for the blog or YouTube. And so I really just really tried to get everything done so that I could spend the whole day with him. And with the exception of just having to edit the last Hawaii vlog, which I'll put a link to, and it was only like 3 minutes because I didn't realize how little footage I had, the whole day was just like, we can do whatever you want. And I am like scheduled wide open, have nothing to do except hang out with you, and it was really nice. We ended up buying a Nintendo Switch and played Mario Party, but it was just really fun, and like, not to get all sappy, but he's my best friend, so it was good. And that was probably like my favorite moment of the past month. So yeah, let me know what you guys enjoyed during the month of February, or if you've listened or read or anything with the products that I've mentioned. I just forgot a category. Beauty! Can you see the pink in my hair? Kristen S. Rose Gold Temporary Tint. I forgot to write that down. I just realized looking at my list, and I see the container sit, and I was like, wait, I didn't talk about that. So I'm like super behind because this has been very popular in the States for probably years, I think. But Kristen S products are available at Well.ca, so I'll link it below and in the coordinating blog post. And basically, if you have a Well.ca account, you can create a coupon code, so I have a coupon code that I will link as well. But this, you just spray onto your hair and it washes out in 2 to 3 washes. So I did this yesterday, and basically the drier your hair is, the better it will absorb. So I am still kind of playing around with it to get it to show up. Like, this isn't super dark, but I really like it, and it's just kind of like a fun pop of color that washes out in like a week. I'm not ready to commit to full head of hair or anything like that, but yeah, it's just nice. I've just done it like underneath, so you can't, just kind of pops through, but I like it, and it was relatively inexpensive. So it has instructions, but basically I just kind of like spray my hair wet and then spray it on, leave it for a little bit, and then rinse it off. But yeah, I like it, and she also has a purple one, so maybe I will try that out at some point. Okay, those are all my favorites for the month of February. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.